Welcome back. Let's continue our discussion on deep visibility query syntax. If you are looking for something that has multiple parts, then this is not where you want to go. Say, for example, you are looking for a specific path. Say I was actually searching for something that says, I want it to be C:\dir subdir evil.exe, right? Well, in this case, if I have the whole path, I could use equal, although it might be better to use one of the contains any case versions because we're not sure of the case of all of these subdirectories and directories. So this would not be correct the way it is. I would probably just want to use contains any case. So just do this. And of course, then you don't need the parentheses to contain all the different things for the in statement. So now this would find that particular thing. But what if we're not sure which subdirectory it is? We know there's a subdirectory in there, but we know that it goes from C:\dir and then it ends in evil.exe. And what I want is an and. I want C:\dir and evil.exe, but there could be something in the middle and we're not entirely sure what it is. Well, the problem is there's no stars, so I couldn't do this. It doesn't work that way. However, what you can do is you can use something like an and. We could put a quotation mark here, and we could repeat this entire line. Bear with me for just a second. So if I get rid of this, and I get rid of this, I have a problem still. Now this is one of the ones that gets a little confusing. So first of all, we're using the word and that's completely normal. We're fine with that. I want this thing and I want this thing to be true. Where it gets confusing is with the backslashes. The backslashes can escape the quotation marks, which is exactly what it's doing here. So in this case, what this is saying is I'm looking for C:\dir /quotation mark. So it's actually looking for dir double quotes. So it is possible to look up double quotes as text. And in order to do that, you have to escape it with the backslash character. However, when you have the backslash character, as we do here, then really you're escaping the final quotation marks in this particular search. And it's complaining because those are not considered the end of the statement. So in order to make that work, I need to double that bar. So now I've escaped the escape, and this now actually stands for C:\dir /, and then /evil.exe is fine. Now, this would be the way we could actually look up C:\dir with something in the middle, and then with the evil.exe, this would actually work. The other way to do this is to use a regular expression. All right, let's go back and look at some of the other comparison items. There's really not that many left. We just spoke about it. There's regular expression. This allows us to use any regular expression and search for it, which may be the better way when you start getting into complex string comparisons. We accept the regular expressions and it just makes things very easy. However, we do not color code the regular expression in any way, shape, or form in this interface. So I strongly recommend utilizing a tool outside of the thing, like reg server or reg 101 or something like that, which is a web. Those are both websites that will parse your regex commands and make them easier to understand. Once you have it set in there and you're finding the correct string of characters, copy and paste it into this. Finally, you've got starts with and starts with any case, which should be self-explanatory. Let's check out some of the numeric ones. So I'm going to type in F again. I'm going to come down here till I find one that is a numeric. And then we'll check out the numeric comparisons. Most of them are fairly self-explanatory. Not equals to, less than equal to, greater than equal to. Between allows you to put in two values. So the old registry full size can be between, let's say, 10 and 1,000. And that would give me anything that is greater than or equal to 10 or less than or equal to 1,000. Moving on down, we've got numeric. We talked about the others. Enum is interesting, and I'm going to do a different example for enum. I'm going to actually go with indicator, because this is something you're probably going to want to use on a regular basis. If we go to indicator category, and I hit tab, I can use not equals to, in and not in. Now there's no contains here because we are looking for very specific values. Now, unfortunately, in and not in are a little bit more difficult to work with because you have to actually remember what the values are. However, equals allows you to do this very easily. Notice that I can just get a space, I can hit tab, and this is the list of allowed values for indicator category. There are no more, there are no less. So I can simply select the one I want. Injection. If I wanted to do more, I could simply go and then I could make a copy of this, Control C and Control V. And I can get rid of injection, hit tab and say I want to go with evasion as well. Now that's a perfectly acceptable way to do that, but you may want to make it even easier for yourself, and this is a little bit cheaty, but if you did this, Control C, Control V, and you get rid of the equal sign here, and instead of equal you can say in, and you can copy and paste each of these items in. And then evasion. Just like that. And this would be a more efficient way of typing in the same thing. You are limited to 100 different things in an in statement. So now in this case, since it's an enum, there aren't even 100 things that you can put in here to have it reach the limit. But in other in statements for strings, if you had, say, for example, you were searching for hashes and you had a list of 1,000 hashes, then you'd be unable to put all 1,000 hashes in, separated by commas and quotation marks. You'd only be able to put in 100 at a time. But in this case, I'm looking for an indicator category that is either injection or evasion, and when I run that, I'll get those results. The discussion of the syntax is a longer one. We're going to pause again here, and we'll come back to this in one final video to finish up.